Okay, I have now got a scrap piece of paper and I broke it into 4 separate boxes, so you can see a line down the middle here and a line down the middle that way, to create 4 thumbnail gestural drawings of what eventually my drawing is going to be. So this is an idea for you to practice a few drawings, realize which one you like the best. Um, Practice will make you feel more comfortable for the next drawing, and practice makes better. So I've selected the word rip. That could be taken as ripping a piece of paper or rest in peace. So I'm going to do a little bit of both to understand which picture or drawing I want to pursue for my final in my sketch pad. All right, so with these 4 boxes, they could be portrait orientation, they could be landscape orientation. So I found a few pictures that I want to reference on unsplash.com. And for my first one, I have a pretty large headstone, which represents a grave site or a body that has passed away, and that would represent the idea of rip or rest in peace in my eyes. So I have a visual reference I'm looking at on my computer. I'm going to break it down into those basic shapes. Okay, so we have like a trapezoid looking or rhombus kind of looking guy right there with some broken rock above it, which is more like a rectangle. I've got a square here and then a triangle at the top with a little something or other, and that's kind of rubble looking too. Okay, and then these are bricks, so I can kind of break that down into the brick idea. Quick and easy. Once again, this is just a quick gesture drawing or a quick study of what's happening. Okay, these kind of concave a little bit, come down, and then we have some rock formation here. You don't want to take too long on these. You just want to get a quick understanding and idea of what's going on and if it's something that you'll actually want to draw for your final. Making sure it's not too difficult for you, not too easy. You are challenging yourself to become a better drawer and utilize all the skills that you have learned throughout the class so far. Okay, that's kind of like the words there to represent who's passed away. And then I have more brick. Only spend a couple minutes on these guys. If you want to spend more time, that's perfectly fine, but you don't have to. Give a quick understanding of what the brick looks like. Okay, so that could be, I got some trees in the background. Okay, so that would be a quick gesture drawing and understanding of what my first rip would be, or rest in peace in that case. Now, maybe I want to do the idea of ripping paper. I'm turning my paper on the side to have a landscape orientation. The picture I'm referencing, the body gets cropped off. Here's his kind of neck from his sweater. Okay, and then we have his hands here. Once again, I don't need to spend too much time on the hands as it is just a gesture drawing, but I can get the basic concept down of what they look like. Hands can just be broken up. His are kind of more of like a circle shape, and then I'm now breaking it up into the fingers and whatnot. But here is where the paper is torn. There's the rest of his body, of his sweater. Okay, so now it looks like this guy hand ripping a paper in half. So I can take it that route as well. Let's see if another picture. Okay, this one I'm going to do like a landscape. So this is going to be a landscape orientation once again. But I have my horizon line here. And then I've got a bunch of headstones throughout the entire piece. The further away they get, the smaller they get, and that is dealing with perspective. Okay, so I'm referencing what I see. There's one big one kind of in the middle, breaking it down into basic shapes. sideways rectangle, vertical rectangle, little extra bit right there, coming up. Not spending too much time on this, but still understanding what's going on. Okay, got more graves around that. Got one cropping off the edge here. Got a building in the background with a tree in front of it. Once again, when I do the actual drawing, I'll spend more time in understanding what's going on, but right now this is just a quick gesture understanding, making sure I feel comfortable that I am able to draw the image that I see or want to create. You have the ability to create your own things, your own ideas of monsters or animals or humans or aliens or vehicles, whatever you want to do. You have the capability to do so as long as you eventually create it to look realistic. Here I'm starting to create the headstones more realistic in terms of three-dimensionality through form. You know this through your basic shapes, cone, cube, cylinder, sphere. But if I didn't add this three-dimensionality to them, then they would all look like flat shapes, and that's not what we want. Okay, so that's once again a quick understanding and gesture drawing of a graveyard. Okay, and I found one more picture that I'm going to reference. This one's another landscape, so I'll go this way again. This is kind of a close-up of a couple headstones, but there's kind of there's like a little wall that shoots up and at an angle. Okay, so now I've started that. That's the basis of what's going on, so now I can really pay attention to where everything else belongs in relation to the wall where I believe it goes. Got a headstone laying up against the wall here that comes down. Need to make that three-dimensional and show the side of it as well. There's another one laying next to it, same difference, a little bit smaller. Branch that out. Okay, then there's a angled cross on this one, cross on this one. Okay, we have another portion of the wall up here. Then I have the end of my horizon line where the ground meets the sky with some stuff going on. I've got a headstone popping up here in the shape of a cross. Once again, I want to make that three-dimensional. And then we have a big kind of focal point headstone right here that shoots up over, kind of the shape of a vase almost. Shoot that down. It needs to be three-dimensional, so we'll shoot that out, mimic the same shape, and come up. This is another cross. And just like this being three-dimensional, we want to make that three-dimensional, the cross as well. So then we'll shoot down this way, down this way, down this way. Notice I didn't do much erasing, it's just a quick gesture drawing study, okay? So then we have that, and then I can start to maybe show some details and such inside. Once again, you can reference pictures, you can make your own up. The only thing you need to really understand is the fact that you need to make it three-dimensional and realistic. So now that I have my 4 thumbnail sketches, I can select which one I want to do. I think I'm going to eliminate the idea of the paper being torn. Let's see. I like all the details in this one, but I kind of like the landscape idea of this one. But I'll go ahead and eliminate that one. So now I'm between these two. I like how this one I think is a little too straightforward of just what's going on. I like the focal point of this guy kind of popping forward, so I'll eliminate this one, and I will go with the last drawing I did. Okay, so that gives you an understanding that you can do practice drawings before you finally realize what you want to do and eventually add it to your final paper. Okay, so go ahead and select a word or two. I also did another one with float, understanding float in terms of a hot air balloon, also a spaceman floating in space, or some buoys floating in water in a landscape situation. But I eventually came down and realized I want to do this hot air balloon picture. So then I went ahead and printed it out, and this is what I will do for another project as well, with float in my painting class. But for you guys, you are in drawing, and I'm going to focus on this guy right here. Go ahead and print that out and use it as visual reference and get going on that. Happy drawing!